Hello, everybody. Welcome
Good
to
morning.
the Option Pit Morning Show. I don't even know what our show is called.
Option Pit Live.
Is it Option Pit Live? Oh my gosh, what a knucklehead. Anyway, now I'm using Tim Walsh's word now. Oh my gosh.
Oh, boy, don't
Anyway,
do that.
speaking of just knucklehead economy, if we just start with the show, and by the way, Andrew Giovinazzi here, Licia Leslie there, clearly. And Mark should be here shortly, although we do miss our magnificent host. Now, you and I were just talking, and we were looking at the economic data coming out, and and we were looking for like 100,000 jobs or something. And if I'm not mistaken, it's 12,000.
12,000. Yeah. Like I just said, I don't think I've ever seen anything less than 6 figures, have we?
Yeah, I'm just trying to pull
It's
up my
weird.
chart here, and I'm grabbing my other one here. Yeah, and I'm 90% sure.
I have it
No,
here, Andrew,
okay.
BLS.
Yeah, that's what I was looking for.
Bureau of Labor Statistics, 12,000 jobs. The rate holds
And
at 4.1.
and the futures, at least I just look at SPY because that's with I trade all my products. I don't trade the futures.
We're up 30.
Up 3 points SPY. So I guess, is this, if we parse that, clearly probably one of the lower jobs numbers of the Biden administration, right? And remember, they did have that 1 million jobs or however many. Remember that revision that happened in the summertime? I don't remember quite when.
880,000.
Yes, just that small revision on jobs. So now, okay,
12,000.
Yeah, now 12,000. So are we back? Are we in the soft landing camp? Remember, bond prices are kind of getting hit since the last Fed rate cut. And but I obviously this is a surprise. I'm surprised.
Yeah.
I don't know about you, but because I know you're in multiple places, multiple states at any one time. But at least in Maine, in my neck of the woods, when I venture out, and I actually talk to live people instead of just like you and Mark and stuff on camera and my students. Like
in
they're
person,
still they're real people, live people.
Hey, we're real. We're just not in person.
We're you're just not there. Jobs, at least until the election, there was on the radio. I listen to radio sometimes. Anyway, it's always hiring. The shipyard that's one town over, always hiring. Everything always, like, at least in Maine, always hiring. I don't know if you've noticed that in Florida. I'm anxious if anybody else in the comments anecdotally. So I always thought there was demand for workers. Now I don't know if that's creating new jobs, but it's certainly jobs, companies looking for people to work. I don't know if you have any.
I agree. Down here in Florida, there you definitely see signs now hiring. A lot of places.
Yeah, it's kind of weird. So I'm not, maybe the government is not hiring. I'd like to probably dig into those numbers. Obviously, we haven't had time to dig in the numbers a little bit, but maybe the government's hiring a little less now going into the next administration. Who knows, right? But I like to see.
Oh, you're right. That's what it is. There are no government jobs added, possibly. That's probably what it is, Andrew. You're right.
Well, I mean, I'm the federal government because we need it to be bigger. We need it to be bigger every 4 years. It needs to.
We need more bureaucracies. We need more three-letter
more alphabet agencies. Yes. We almost had the Ministry of Disinformation, I think, too. But anyway, I don't want to go down the rabbit hole. But as far as the market it's kind of handling this news well. We had the first sell off of October yesterday.
We had the first sell-off since what Friday, September 6th.
So again, that was and we have also we can document volatility a little bit when Mark comes on and be talking about kind of the situation around the election. But I'm interested to see what you see in the charts. Did that sell off break anything? Is it over for the Magnificent Seven? These are all the questions we have, Licia, for you in the charts.
Yeah. It's hard to say. We're up 30. We could get a little Harami inside day today. That may stop the sell-off, but the elections next week, the Feds next week, I think it's possible we're in the beginning of something.
Okay. Now, can you explain to everybody what a Harami is for the non?
Yes, a Harami would be an inside day, like this very, very, very large bearish red candle.
Okay.
Would signal, you've had the sell-off, you would signal that it looks ugly, we're probably going lower. And then the next day you come up with this little inside day, and that says,
Gotcha.
No, not so fast, we're not going lower. It means pregnant in Japanese.
Okay.
And it looks like a little pregnant lady there, and the market reverses.
That, by the way, was an excellent explanation. I totally got that, by the way. I totally got that. Even though I've never been pregnant myself. I totally get that. So yeah, well,
it's
I
awesome.
guess, and obviously the start of today just being up a few bucks, that could be that. And you have to say it out loud, but is the market waiting for the election? I think Mark will cover that when he's in, but to a large extent, that's like I haven't listened to the radio lately because of all of the ads. When I live my grand life and I go, pick up some coffee, and maybe a lobster or something, I have playing the radio, but like in your ear all the time, it's been with political ads, and I for one will be glad when they're over.
Yes, I think many Americans are just get it over with already.
Right. So the market had our first sell-off, which I think we were just due. Also, another thing to talk about is Iran, Israel, again, back in the news. And I think this is also kind of a nagging issue with volatility. It's like, I guess we're getting sort of war weary at this point from it. And like it's not going to change, but I don't know. I feel like, Iran might be poking the bear there a little bit with Israel. If all this stuff.
Yeah.
How do you launch it from Iraq? I thought Iran and Iraq, didn't really get along, but I find that why does Iraq want to allow that? So many questions.
Right.
So many questions. But how about let's just talk about the Q performance yesterday. We just traded 500 a couple days ago, which it's been a while since we've seen that. And then now we're trading 500 again. I'm like, okay, the rosy days are here again for the Q. Can we keep going? And then they didn't like Microsoft and Meta very much.
Meta.
Things.
Right.
So was that just kind of a Q sadness thing? I know. Did we break any major resistance points yesterday?
We did. Support. We did break down. Qs did break down from support they'd been holding for a long time here.
Wow.
Since back here, middle of September. Yeah, they definitely broke down. I did have a little support just above yesterday's close. But again, today could be Harami day. Saying, no, we're not going lower. Now, with every candlestick change in trend, signal, or pattern, you always need to wait for the confirmation. For me, that's the next day that the stock goes in the direction you're thinking, it's changing to. Okay. So I really won't know till Monday we get a Harami inside day, we won't know until Monday if it follows through to rally or it's a failed Harami and it sells off more.
Right.
And of
And you
course,
get
today's candle will matter what it ends up doing.
right. So we do. So if we have, so let's look at two of the other, I'd say, big ones. Gold, because gold has been a one-way freight train this year.
Yes, it has.
And again, I think the jobs number that might cloud the picture a little bit. How is gold reacting this morning on the number?
Gold is higher. Now, gold had a big reversal day yesterday, and this could become a tweezers top where the high price is the same. They call that a tweezers top, like it's, tweezers. And your MACD's trying to roll negative, although today, again, could be Harami day after this big negative, big reversal, big red bearish candle. So far today is Harami also. Inside day, possibly negating that bearishness.
Because
Hard to
you look
say.
at
Now, if it trades below yesterday's lows, then it's going lower.
okay. Because now with the poor unemployment number, which I think might be the low one. They were touting jobs for years after everybody kind of went back to work after COVID. Like, oh, it's just like a miracle. Everybody threw everybody out of work. Now everybody get back to work again. I still boggles the mind. Anyway, but if they're if they just slam rates down even 25 basis points now, it sounds like it's probably going to happen. That should be bullish for gold. All the inflation people are going to be rocking again. Now, how about bonds before we kind of move to earnings?
Yeah, bonds, major league. I mean, we talk about it all the time how they just sold off immediately the day they cut rates last time. And I know it's crazy. They seem to be trying to find a place here. Hard to say. I have the 10-year up against resistance here, but it could just be, consolidating until it takes another leg lower. On the 30-year, kind of the same idea.
It's
Gap
almost like
lower and can't trade above that gap. That's your
right.
resistance there, 93 on TLT.
It feels
Go
like
ahead.
they can't take rates down a whole lot more because also inflation. Well, everybody was touting inflation's lower. Everybody has to kind of cool their jets somewhat. The rate of inflation is actually starting to tick back up just slightly again. It's not, on the margin. It's not like prices are lower. They're just not rising as fast.
Prices are not
But
lower.
now they're starting to just tick up slightly again. With yesterday, the numbers came out. They're like 3.5, 3.7. So you got to kind of be like, well, hold on a minute. It's so you're basically sitting at you're kind of sitting at this level where until the government, again, whoever gets in office, right? Will Kamala cut spending? Trump saying he will with Elon Musk trying to do something. Two competing visions there, I think, right? So
it's Kamala.
Kamala, that's right, Kamala. So I think people are waiting, right? They're waiting for the election again. So, and given all of the noise in the press, just about everything, again, I think we're waiting again. So as interesting as this week was, I feel like
next week's going to be major league.
Yeah, next week we can move around a little bit. And I think now until Mark gets here, we might as well start with. I think we should start with earnings, and we have a request, Licia.
Okay, well, real quick, look at the VIX of the bonds. Ticking higher today. Yeah.
So maybe they're looking for that.
That's
for
pretty
sure rate cut
concerning.
now. I never find bond volatility going up to be very bullish to me. Or, I mean,
Right.
Is it the bottom? It's probably worth taking a look at all those little mini tops and bond volatility. What's the ticker for that particular one?
Move, MOVE.
Oh, it's the move index. Okay, I just looked at the 30-day vol and TLT, so I'm kind of a one-trick pony with that. But it's moving higher, and I think maybe this employment number might have thrown a little monkey wrench in the works this morning. But earnings we had, I guess this week, kind of the good and the bad and the ugly, so to speak.
Yeah.
VIX, we closed 23 yesterday. And where are we this morning? Are we trading right around
22,
21?
21.94.
Oh, so we dropped 1 point. Do you see it dropping a whole lot more before November 5th? Kind of hard.
I would say probably not.
Yeah, it would be hard. It's going to be very hard for VIX to drop before the election.
Right.
I think we're just here. And that's kind of the symptom of what we have had the last month. Volatility just been up. And Mark will cover this, but implied vol has been just kind of going up every day, basically, because how volatility works going into a known event. But realized vol was gone to zero except for yesterday. Basically, that was our
Right.
first move of the month. So you have this insane separation where and again, in my mind, it appears people are still kind of happy with stocks. I don't know. You look at China, and China's saying we're going to do all the stimulus, and they got that pop, but ever since then, it's kind of been a little soft.
Yes, it has.
And it hasn't really done it.
Following.
Yeah. Now, clearly, if you're in at the bottom, you look like a genius at this point. But now show me some more, I guess. That's where we are. So I think, you put the SPY together against FXI, and it's hard to believe that the Chinese economy has been growing so fast with how their stock market performs. But that's for another show. I guess, though, we could hit earnings before Mark pops on. We've had a couple.
Let's say Apple and Amazon, or
Amazon, Apple, and let's say Eli Lilly, right? Don't they make the obesity drug or whatever?
They had a huge day yesterday. Lilly. Well, okay, here Apple, they're showing down just over $4, $4.20. Not a huge move in Apple.
No.
I think the straddle was priced at $9. Yeah.
Wow.
$9, and the move was $4.
I think most of Apple.
Some premium crush in there today.
Yeah. and you look at Apple, I think most of the move has happened this last 3-4 months. From the last earnings, I mean, the stock's up from what, 200 to 230 or something. I mean, how much can the thing go up for the value that it is at this point? It still can rally, of course, but it's hard for Apple to really create that, that next big move up without real revenue growth. I mean, it's a behemoth.
Yeah.
But right now, I think it's the most successful utility in the planet, right? They got iPhones, they service iPhones, Macs, and they generate a ton of money. But it's how much at 30 times earnings, how much you want to pay for it, I guess. The next
Do you
big
have an
one,
Apple store near you?
In Maine, there is one.
Have you ever gone in? They're always mobbed.
Yeah. I went in once. And then I'm like, okay. What's funny is now Walmart has a fix-it. They have a fix-it, like a fix your device store. So the little Walmart in our town, and I think all the same dude works in the Apple stores and now the Walmart stores, and that guy used to work at Radio Shack. It's the same dude that works in all of them,
You only have one of them in me.
There's only one dude, and he's the guy that works in all of the stores. And he fixes your thing. He knows more about your device. He cranks it up, pulls the screen off, slaps another one on. Here you go. You're out the door. So
All right.
whoever that dude is, he really does a great job. Another
He's got a monopoly on that job. So Amazon is interesting. It's trading right at these previous highs here.
I know. Are we gonna? Is it gonna
Just
break
at
out? We had a
199.
little trade on in trading
200.
desk, and I was a little greedy. Probably, we're gonna make a little money on it, but it was a little bit of a trading opportunity prior to the earnings. But I don't think it's been over 200 for any length of time, right? Like going way back. Oh yeah, we're a little long.
This is 200 right here.
Yeah. So I mean, it's been a while. If Amazon can actually break out with new and I kind of like this one. I'm starting to sell a little Walmart and go back to buying some Amazon. Mostly because, how does Amazon do if they start adding more robots to the stuff they do and more AI? I think, you could see more growth. I have to say, I'm not,
Sure.
I think it's not.
Who doesn't use Amazon, right? Who doesn't use Amazon?
I know. That's the reality of it. So it's kind of just one of those things where it's just too darn convenient. But the fact that it's going to break out, could we do a little chart love? I'm wondering if we could see what a high number is. I'm trying to like 205, some good number by Christmas, if possible. I'm see if I worth holding my calls a little longer.
Above 200. The top of my pitchfork is way up here under 215.
Oh, wow. I'd take 215.
Yeah.
So it's got a way. I mean, it could travel if it actually breaks out a little bit.
Yeah. Sure can. Above 200 it can. 200 will be, today we'll know today probably.
Yeah, I was looking at it. Can it get to that number? Wow, SPY is the market's actually holding up. We sit here and we've been doing this show since December, and we've been laughing about it. How do they keep loving? And every Friday, there's not many Fridays where we don't go up. Last one is Lily.
Let's look at. Yeah.
Ooh. Ay.
Wasn't it down 100 yesterday?
I think
on the lows. Yeah. Look at that bounce. Yeah. I had a 94 point range.
And I think this is kind of like a sort of a serious, like where the election might matter for Lily, because if Trump goes in, he brings in JFK Jr., right? Or RFK Jr. And you think that the government's going to pay for Ozempic when Kennedy's like, doing pull-ups and stuff. He's like, just stop eating. Okay.
Yeah.
Because that's $1,500. That will blow up Medicare, blow it up. So Kamala gets in, maybe I could see a lot of Ozempic being sold. So, it just sort of somehow the FDA, whatever, approves it for Medicaid. So interesting. I think there's a couple of visions on healthcare there. I think one might be spend more, one might be spend less, but we'll see, obviously, right? Because we don't know. But I think there could be a bit of a binary switch there for Lilly at that valuation. So what's a good low point on it?
And Lilly? Well, I was looking at Merck. Merck is interesting.
Okay. Do they
Merck
have one
is
of those
interesting. Pardon me?
Does Merck have another weight loss drug? I guess assume they all must at this point, right?
I don't know. I don't know. I'm sure they all do, right? There's like 3 or 4 different ones that are all the same, I guess. But
None of
Merck
these
is
look.
trading down to a support level here
Wow.
at the bottom of my pitchfork. I think Merck is due to turn around. Now, again, you need some confirmation. I probably wouldn't hop in until it traded 104.5 or higher. But this, to me, looking primed for a bounce.
Yeah, Frank and I are going to go live today in for our special situations, and the drug companies are on our. That's like I
Oh,
think
cool.
that could definitely be a drugs and healthcare. I mean, this country spends a lot of money on healthcare, and we all have. I mean, the problem is pretty obvious what it is.
We like food.
Yes, so I think I wonder if the reign of healthcare being like that outperformer over the last 10, 15 years since Obamacare passed. I wonder if I don't know. I wonder if it slows down somewhat. Let's say. So I think there's potential for it, but we'll see who's in office. We don't know. Yeah, we just don't know. I think now. I wonder if is Mark in yet. That we don't know. I got to go check my node here, but I don't think he's in here, and he's in there yet. So for our there he is.
I think
He is here.
Yes, of course I'm here.
Good morning.
I'm going to be here. Good morning, everybody. How you doing, Andrew? How you doing, Licia?
I'm yeah. Hosting is a lot tougher when you're not here.
Andrew, you were fine.
Yes, excellent work. Excellent work. Yeah, good morning, guys. So I wanted to talk about the special situation with the with everything going on with the election, and kind of talk about, history doesn't, they say history repeats itself. Yeah. But, it definitely echoes. So, Reuven, if you want to share my screen. So what we're looking at here is the current shape of the VIX complex. So you're saying, what is a VIX complex? Is that like I'm obsessed with the VIX? No, that's just what the VIX futures means, folks. So the green line is the VIX index. And then the subsequent lines each represent a VIX future. Now, what makes VIX futures interesting is that they're European exercise. What does European exercise mean? That means there's no early exercise. So when you think about volatility, what is the one thing we know about volatility? We don't know what volatility is going to do today. We don't know what volatility is going to do tomorrow. But we do know one thing about volatility over time. And that is that it is mean reverting. So what does mean reverting mean? Is that Scott behind you? Hi, Scott.
Hey, Mark.
And
hey, guys. Be careful today. It's looking dicey.
That's a Florida man sighting right there.
Yeah.
Don't get whipsawed. Don't get whipsawed.
So sorry. So volatility is mean reverting. So if there is no early exercise on a future that involves volatility, and volatility is high, well, how is that future going to trade relative to where volatility currently is? It will trade at a discount. And when volatility is low and there's no early exercise in that future, where is volatility going to trade? It's going to trade at a premium. Why? Because there is an assumption that when volatility is low, here's the future, here's volatility, that when volatility is low, it will rise a little bit. And when volatility is high, it will fall a little bit. And so because of that, we get this shape of the VIX never exactly trading where the futures are. The futures are kind of trying to guess where the VIX will be when they expire. So this future expires on November 20th. Currently, it is guessing that the VIX is going to expire 2025 on November 20th. Currently, VIX is 2196. So with the election coming up, and we have the election coming up in approximately the election is in 2 trading days. We should have the results in 3. So got me thinking, have we ever seen what does the VIX look like before the election in other times? So I went back and looked at some other time periods. And the one that really blew me away was this one. This is November 3rd, 2016. So this is where we call basically where we are today. So this is the close of business on Thursday. Basically where we are right now, right? Business hasn't opened up yet for markets today. Here's where we are here's where we were at the end of the day on Thursday, November 3rd, 2016. Remember 2016, because the first day of the month was a Tuesday, we didn't have the election until the 8th. It was the latest the election can be. So this is basically where we are now relative to where we were then. And what do you notice? Here is 2016, and here is now. Now, you tell me. Trying to get these to line up right.
They look very similar, Mark.
Yeah. Yeah, they look incredibly similar, don't they?
I need
VIX
Licia,
is in almost the
'cause she's
exact same
chart person
spot.
to confirm this.
I mean,
but
VIX is in almost the exact same spot. The only difference is that you've got a little bit more of juice in the curve. And I think that's likely related to the Federal Reserve meeting 2 days following the election. So that, my friends, is why we are trading the election special situation. Because you're saying, well, Mark, that's great that we looked like that on November 3rd, 2016. All right, well, what did we look like on Veterans Day in 2016, November 11th? Now, remembering what this curve looked like. It's amazing how quickly volatility can fall post-election.
It sure
Now,
is.
I think there's some other mitigating circumstances that maybe hold things up a little bit higher. But I do think that we are in a spot where volatility is completely overbought. We've talked about the fact that, we have a VIX of 22 currently. And even with yesterday's giant move, average true range is not 50 points a day, less than 1%. And realized volatility, so realized volatility is how much we're moving from close to close. 10-day skyrocketed to 10.94%, and 20-day all the way up to 11.39. The VIX, the current market movement, is producing a VIX of 14. The VIX is 22. This is why we trade special situations. And we are primed here at Option Pit for a for trading the election I've already put out my election trade, but there is still time to get in and jump on board and to hop in, especially with yesterday's big push that pushed volatility higher, that extended the runway of my election trade. So if you'd like to join, shoot us an email, support@optionpit.com, call us 888-872-3301. And you can join us. So there you have it. That's what I'm saying. I got to tell you, just now pivoting to these earnings, Amazon, not surprised at all. I think we all kind of anticipated. The key here, folks, is it going to break 200? Can Amazon break 200? It has, if you look at the chart of Amazon, it has closed at 200 on 2 separate occasions. It has never actually closed above 200. It's closed at 200. And I mean, for a NASDAQ stock to close exactly 200 is crazy. I could see that more on the New York Stock Exchange, where they've got that end of day, specialist screwery where they can do what they want. But Amazon, really not surprised. It's up $12.88. Remember, it was down $7 yesterday. So after yesterday's sell-off and today's rally, congratulations, Amazon, you're up $5. Lottie freaking down.
Yeah.
I think I overheard Andrew's point on Apple that, it had a nice run. Couldn't agree more. Exxon, Exxon and Chevron are the big surprises this morning. Returning more capital to shareholders, beating earnings despite low oil. So, big win on the energy side for the energy owners today. It just goes to show you that if the economy is not going to completely fall flat, and energy even above just $70 a barrel, these guys are going to make a lot of money. They are. Why? Because the economy is running out on all sectors. Energy demand is going to remain high because people are out driving, they're out flying, or in Andrew's case, they may be in Andrew's trading vehicle. In this segment, Licia and I disappear, and Andrew walks you through how he's trading his individual security this week. Take it away, Andrew.
Ruben, if you want to put the first slide up. See, that's why Mark's the host. All right. Hood not being very complicated here. So I had this as a flash 10 stock for us. We've ridden it 22. We sold some calls that we bought. Had a nice little return. I'm still holding some shares. But now I'm like, okay, I want to sell some puts. So sometimes, like, you buy calls because you think things are going to rip, and you sell puts because you want the stock at a lower price. So right now, like the 20 puts, and the stock was just trading like $28. It's down to like 23 and change. Anything below 20 now in here, I like to add a little bit more shares. So I'm just selling puts. So how I work that out is I just take the whatever the put premium I want to sell, and I divide the put premium by the stock. Right now, the 20 puts are like 3.5%. The 21 puts are almost 5%. So it's like, if you want, it's like, okay, I want to buy a stock. I don't really think it's going to fly, but I just want the dividend. You sell the put. And it's, you just have to be, it's like you just assume you're buying the stock. So I'll take a 5% dividend to hold Hood until December 20th right now. Worst comes to worst, I buy more stock at 20. It wouldn't be the first time I've been put shares in this stock. I started getting put at $9, at $10, and it has worked out fine. let's see the next slide here. Thanks, Ruben. So here again, like earnings were good. I think the stock might have got a little ahead of itself, which is why I closed the calls that I have. I still think this could be a $30, $35 stock next year. Growth has been like breakneck. They're also moving into all kinds of other markets. So, I like this as a stock to add on dips. I think as a company that's turned around as far as kind of getting its act together. Is it going to be the $60 or $70 stock that it was in the meme thing? I don't, not for a while, but I think I think this could pay a decent yield by selling puts in the short term if you get the stock at a lower price. So this is one where I wouldn't jump in to buy calls, but I am going to sell some puts today. So anyway, that is my trading vehicle for Hood. Again, been a good stock for us in Flash 10. And I hope it continues to be a good stock for us.
Yeah, you crushed it in Flash 10. I don't think people realize the opportunity they missed out on that. Hopefully, we'll get another opportunity to jump in on some of those. There are always option. There's always option footprints being put in the ground on new stocks that have previously stunk, and Andrew is sniffing them out. Speaking of sniffing them out, we are up against it. It is 9:15, which means we're about to turn into a pumpkin. Currently, S&P futures are up 22 points. We got a pop out of non-farms, but they've started to ease off. NASDAQ futures are currently up about a little bit less than 0.4%, hanging out at 20,095. VIX futures are down 61 cents. What are you thinking for the day, Licia J?
I'm feeling a sell-off, I think.
All right, Andrew T. Giovinazzi.
I'm going to go with Licia's Harami. I think we're going to have a kind of an inside day. Nobody wants to do anything until the election. They're all freaked out now. They're going to sit on their hands.
I'm with Licia. I don't think today is going to be as bad as yesterday. But never trust a weak rally after an ugly sell-off on a Friday, ever. So I think we'll close the day down between 0.5% and 0.75%. That'd be my best guess. In the S&P, NASDAQ will close sub 20,000 for the first time in a while. That NASDAQ futures. That would be my bet. But we'll see. All right. So folks, there you have it. Join us next week. We're here every week on Fridays at 8:30 a.m. Eastern Time. This is Option Pit Live. So for Andrew T. Giovinazzi, the Viking of Volatility, Licia J. Leslie, the Duchess of the Doji, the Queen of the Candles, I am Mark Sebastian, your only option. We hope you have a wonderful Friday. And to all my friends from India, have a wonderful Diwali. Have a good one.
You know how the financial world goes. Here comes the buzzkill. Please make sure to take some time to read this boring disclaimer. We will owe you one.